Most performance problems in hospitality don't start as big problems. They start small. A missed greeting, a delay in acknowledging a guest, a shortcut in a standard that probably doesn't matter this one time. And in the moment, it's easy to let it go because you're busy, because it feels minor, because you tell yourself you'll come back to it later. But later rarely comes, and what was small becomes normal. That's why strong supervisors understand something very important. Leadership is not about reacting to big problems. It's about stepping into small ones, early. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to work closely with supervisors across very different environments, from high-volume hotels to complex operations where every shift brings pressure, unpredictability, and constant movement. And one of the most consistent patterns I've seen is this. The supervisors who build strong teams are not necessarily the most experienced, and they're not the loudest. They're the most attentive. They notice small things early, and they act on them, calmly, quickly, and consistently. They don't wait for performance reviews. They don't wait for complaints, and they don't wait for patterns to form. They coach in the moment. And over time, that habit becomes the difference between a team that struggles and a team that performs with consistency. Let's be honest. Most performance issues don't appear overnight. They build. A team member cuts a corner, and nothing is said. So they do it again. Another team member sees it and assumes it's acceptable. Before long, what was once a small gap becomes a shared behavior. And now, you're not correcting one person, you're trying to reset an entire standard. This is where many supervisors find themselves frustrated, not because the issue is difficult, but because it was allowed to grow. Coaching early is not about being overly critical. It's about protecting the standard before it starts to slip. When we delay addressing something, we send a message, even if we don't mean to. The message is, this is acceptable. And the longer the delay, the stronger that message becomes. Now when you finally address it, it feels inconsistent, because from the team's perspective, this behavior has already been approved by silence. That's why timing matters so much in leadership. The closer your coaching is to the moment, the clearer and more effective it becomes. A lot of supervisors hesitate because they want to handle things the right way. They overthink the wording. They wait for the perfect moment. They rehearse what they're going to say. And in doing so, they miss the moment entirely. Here's the reality. A simple, calm, imperfect correction delivered early is far more effective than a perfectly worded conversation delivered too late. Because in the moment, the behavior is fresh, the context is clear, the learning is immediate. Leadership is not about perfect delivery, it's about timely direction. This doesn't have to be complicated. Pull the team member aside, quietly, respectfully, and keep it simple. What happened there? Let's try this instead next time. Here's what I need you to focus on. That's it. No long speech, no build-up, no emotion. Just clear, immediate guidance. And then, just as important, you move forward. Because coaching is not about stopping the shift. It's about improving it as it happens. The best supervisors don't wait for issues to become obvious. They notice early, they act quickly, and they coach in real time. Because they understand something many don't. Standards are not set in meetings. They are set in moments. And the earlier you lead in those moments, the stronger your team becomes.